Okay. Hi, agents. Thank you for joining this call and jumping on to watch. So today we have Lewis here with us and Vince. So Vince is a farmer's agent, well, past farmer's agent, now farmer's producer. And Lewis has this awesome new software to share with us from the Wallet Group. I just had to ask questions for like the first 30 minutes of, before we started talking and recording the call to really understand it because it's brand new. And like, there's nothing like this out there. In this very moment, while we're recording this call, we are all navigating and dealing with the TCR requirements for text communication with our prospects and customers. And this is a really good solution to those problems to still be able to deliver communications out. So I really hope you watch the entire video. He's got an awesome promo for us at the end of the video, but watch this so you can see how it works and what it does. It's exciting. I literally was like, I literally threw my paper beginning when we started talking. I'm like, this is so perfect because TCR is killing me right now. This is perfect. So great timing. Excited for agents to see this. So I'll turn it over to you, Lewis, and you can tell us what this is all about.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you so much today for having me on, and excited to share this new technology. So I'll just preface before we get started so everyone's in the right headspace. What we're about to talk about is digital cards. So 9 years ago, Apple made this revolutionary inflection point when Tim Cook got on the Apple keynote and said, we're going to digitize this. And behind him was a huge picture of a bifold leather-bound wallet. And that was the moment that Apple released and said, we're going to digitize the wallet, which was great. The unfortunate part was they didn't promote it. They didn't release it into the market with any significant documentation. And they made it very difficult to build these assets, which we call cards, in those wallets. So really two industries gravitated towards digital cards, and almost everyone on this call probably has seen or used the digital boarding passes that Southwest and Delta Airlines use. And then the other one, if you've been to any major sporting outfit, so NFL, MLB, you've probably added a digital card or ticket to your wallet to get into that venue. So what our group has done is really fairly recent, put together a couple of great minds to figure out how can we allow small businesses to make digital cards for these wallets that are now in the community, and they're ever growing. So they're supporting more and more assets. And as a small business, take advantage of building a card, giving it to their customers, their vendors, their partners, and be able to use that card just like the airlines can and direct notify their customers on different things that are happening in the market, or different timed inflection points for invoicing or policy changes or things like that. So that's what we're about to show you today, is just the fact that any brand, specifically now insurance, can go online with this amazing technology, very quick, generate a branded card for the practice, distribute that to vendors, customers alike, and now use that card in our dashboard to communicate and send out direct messages like a mobile app or like text messaging, without any of the lifts, without any of the PII, which is that personal identifiable information like text and email. None of that's needed to get a card in my wallet. So that's what I wanted to talk to you today about, and go through just a very quick tutorial on how easy it really is to make one of these cards.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to show us the steps. I haven't seen the steps yet. I do want to just clarify for everybody, when you made the reference for texting and emailing, this communication is one way. So this is to send notices out to people. If they want to get back in touch with you about the message, they need to call, text, or email you. So they can't respond through the card. That was something that was a little confusing for me in the beginning. So just to make sure that's clear, but still a great way. I mean, think about being able to send a message out. For example, right now with TCR, we can't text people without their prior consent. So if you can send a message that's like, opt in or whatever for texting, then you can get that authorization through this, and it still sends it as a really easy way to communicate, and they don't have to open an email. Or including a message on the bottom of the communications. Like if you'd like more information, you can call or text our office at this number, and you're going to get a certain amount of people responding back with any additional questions or communications, and that will initiate that conversation. So that was really, at least just in the time that we're in right now with communications with clients and all these new FCC regulations, really great additional option. So I'll let you go ahead and back to the demo, but I want to throw that out there.
Sure, absolutely. So right now I logged into a card dashboard, which is what you saw. I do have a couple sample cards, but today we're going to make an insurance card. So, insurance practice 101, we're going to grab this card, and there's a couple things you can do. First and foremost, it's developing which settings make the most sense for your card. And I'm not going to go through, there's a lot to this. And we do have a full-blown help tutorial guide in the upper right corner that you can click, and it walks you through every single option that you're seeing on my screen here today. But some things just to note. So an example of like, are you going to use barcoding on the front of your card? Again, these were intrinsically tickets years ago. And so you could use the barcode for like discounted promotions. It could be just optically something that like becomes an exclusive card. There's all sorts of things you can do.
Can you show us what a card looks like so that people can kind of get an idea of a visual as you're explaining this?
Sure, absolutely.
Because I know I hadn't seen a card before this, so.
I'm just showing an example of card that actually has a barcode just for those folks that could see it.
So that's kind of what the cards look like.
Yeah, so very similar to, and I'll show a couple cards. So logo in that upper right corner, you can put a background veneer of the practice or of your team or whatever. The bottom here, we opted to put a scannable QR code that just says test. That's an example of what one card could look like. Another example, I'll just pull up another one here. This is the Riptide. They're a Major League Lacrosse team. They just have a background veneer of like the ocean. Their logo, they did send some messages that went out to their community most recently. And let me see if I have anything else. Victory Brewing, it's they're a brew establishment kind of in the region, the Northeast region. And so they have a bottle of their Sour Monkey on the front and on the back of the card. So I'm going to flip that card over, just like the boarding ticket on the back of the card. There's all sorts of details. So, you know, we outlined some specific contact points that we thought made sense. So phone, location, hours. These folks have their website, they have some social media links, and then they have the ability to register the card, which I'm going to get to in a moment, because registration could be key to unlock some further customer engagement if you end up partaking and doing business with that potential insurance provider.
So you can design the front and the back of the card, and it's literally like a business card, pretty much, obviously with a lot of digital options that are easier to access information and store that you have in your phone versus in a business card holder that everybody loses and never opens up again.
Exactly. And just for reference, right, those folks probably know that's like the traditional like Delta or American airline card that they're accustomed to. So
yeah. And then in that other one you showed, it had the messages. So when you send out the blast messages, it shows the history of those. It keeps them in the card.
Great question. So I'll direct you to my screen below. And so the answer is yes. You can either have your history fatigue, meaning it's just whatever's on the card is the message, or you can go out and say, I want to show the last 30 messages on the back of the card to kind of keep like this running history of things that maybe make sense in your industry. And after 30, it'll just rotate out. A lot of brands.
You could do like, if you send out one message a month, you could do 12, and then they see the last year's worth of messages, for example.
Exactly, as a rolling 12.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So these are some of the settings. Again, I won't go through all the nuances, and there's a lot of things in here. The only other thing I do want to touch on in this example is, remember when I said that you could register a card, which is a pretty important piece. So let's say it is a customer or someone that wants to, you know, intimately partake a little bit more in the brand. Again, at the bottom of the card, there's the ability to register a card. So I'll click that. I just want to show everyone what that looks like. So I clicked on that, and that will bring up, sorry, I was just clearing out some of the details here. That'll bring up a registration. What's important to note on my screen is you could design your registration for what's important to you. Meaning if you don't want to get email, you could hide that. If you think it's an optional field, you can make it optional. If you are only an email-driven organization and you want to build your email list or build your text list, well, you could say, hey, look, I want to know the name, like who are you? And I want to know your email, make that required. Everything else is hidden and off the screen. So you can kind of design your own registration. We did add an other field. So if you want to ask, oh, I don't know, who's your current insurance provider today? Or what's your favorite sport? Like whatever you want to put, what's your customer ID? Like you could put a custom field and you can also make that required. And then you can also build out some preferences. So what you're going to see here in a moment is that when people register a card, they might be registering for a reason, right? They might be registering for like important policy information, important office information, important, you know, agent information. So what you could do is build a list of different notification types that you might be sending out, from office information to agent information to industry information. And then the consumer can go ahead and decide, well, what type of messages would they like to receive in this card? Would they like only information about the office, only information about insurance policies, or whatever it might be? just as a couple examples.
Okay.
So there are a couple things like time zone, distance, things like that for geofencing. But let me show you the builder. So how we can kind of make this card look how some of the cards looked on my phone. So left side is going to be the front of the card. It just defaults to a blue. There's a default logo, so you can kind of see what you want to do, and it's as easy as browsing or picking a color. And then on the right side are going to be all these different fields that we thought kind of make sense for most brands. So contact points like phone, email, directions, hours, everything is 100% optional. And at the very bottom, there's a full more detail section, which allows you to put as much information as you want. So some people might say, oh, we're going to be at this event, or, oh, the office will be closed these dates, or maybe you want to put some other information about new lines or things that might be coming into the branch. So the more details basically gives you ultimate flexibility for anything and everything you might want to put on the back of the card. It supports 56,000 characters. So you can take your favorite book and paste it on the back of this card. I wouldn't recommend it, but keep something short and sweet. And the cards are meant to be these like quick assets. So that just allows you full flexibility, and everything that you put in here is trackable. So when you put a phone number, we track how many people call you. When you click an email, I put how many people click the email. When you click directions, I will track how many people click that. So you can see on the next screen, we're going to build a quick card here in 30 seconds. You could start to see the engagement. So not just how many people have my card, Apple or Android, but how many people called me from the card, how many people turned the card over, things like that make sense. So you know, hey, people are using the card.
What's the usage? Yeah. And then you had mentioned earlier, like I was saying how I moved my office recently from one city to the next. So I could go into this card and update my address. And then when people go to find me, it's on their card updated. I don't have to like print new business cards, and I don't have to like try to communicate and send an email and a text to all my clients and say, this is where I am. If we have high usage on this, we just update the location here, send out a message that says, hey, we've recently moved, here's our new address. And then it pushes that notification out to everybody using it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be real vanilla here, and I'm just going to paste in some of our sample details here just so we could see what some of this stuff looks like. And I'm just going to put more details. And we'll update this card. And before I press update, one thing to note. So this is retroactive and future active. So meaning anyone, let's say I have 1,000 people that already have my card. The moment I press this purple button that says update, all 1,000 people, that card's going to update anywhere from about 30 seconds to a minute and a half. Future people that decide to have my card, like tomorrow, that card's already pre-updated with all this new information. So this is controlling these cards right now, real time, in everyone's pocket. It's not like you're updating the card and only future people see the updates. It's everyone historically that had the card is also seeing these real-time updates.
Is it, are they notified of an update or no? That would just be if we sent a notice. That's
correct. So this is kind of like the background updates. I'm changing my website.
Got it.
You may then in a moment want to send a direct message to everyone saying, hey, we updated the hours and the card, come check it out. And that will populate to the phone. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this.
One thing to know
I want to use this for my consulting business. Oh, I'm sorry, Vince, go ahead.
Just the fact that, and I'm sure Lewis was going to get to this, but you can, pre-schedule the messages and notifications that you want to send out through here maybe as well, related to, if you know your office is going to be closed or some other event that you just want to make sure and just go ahead and get that set. That's one nice feature of this technology as well.
That's actually a great piece. Like I recently have lost some staff and I'm rehiring. So I have it's just a couple of us right now as we're hiring like for 4 different roles currently. But we are going to have like a couple hours where we're not going to have anybody to answer phones. So to be able to send out a message and say, hey, because of a staffing shortage and change, we are not going to be available between 10 and 1. Please call the 800 number for our company or whatever. That would be amazing, because then you have that open communication. You prevent people that call and say like, where were you? Right. Well, we told everybody that we weren't going to be there for a couple hours because of a scheduling issue. And there's a lot of agencies out there who are like 1 or 2 man shows. And that is unfortunately something that they deal with regularly where they're not in. So this is a great solution for that.
Yeah, we all know how that works, Brad. When we want to, posting something on our Facebook page, we cross our fingers and hope that, our clients are going to see that. Whereas, something like this where, we're 99% certain, every time that person's going to get the message, and just how powerful and effective that is. So they aren't surprised or didn't know and can't say that.
You're more optimistic than me. When I post things on my social media, I don't expect anyone in my customers to see it ever. Right. But yes, I agree with you.
So one thing I'm going to show you here next is how do we then, let's say this card looks great, it's right on point. How do we get this out into the world? How do we, get this card utilized for our customers? So what we have is a general distribution tag, which allows everyone to use the same QR code and the same branded link to get the card. We also added a unique custom distribution tagging system if you want to be a little bit more creative on the marketing side. So what that may mean is you may want to put a different QR code in your email signature and a different QR code in the e-blast you do, and a different QR code on the website that you're going to put it on. So you could track to see, it all goes to one card, but we're tracking to see, okay, the email got us 5,000 people. The Facebook page got us 12 people. So you could start to see, like, where is your customers, your vendors, your partners, where are they engaging? Where are they collecting this card and adding it to their wallet? What's the most potent channel in your market to drive people to jump aboard the community? So in this example, I'm just going to show you, we could just call it the website. And this would be the example of a tag I would make. We could give it some unique features. We give it a unique message. So when you scan it, we could have it say, like, thank you for adding this card, or whatever vernacular we want to put. We can have it redirect to a specific landing page. So after you add the card, we can have it redirect to the website as well. So look at it as like a speed bump. So a lot of people make these QR codes. QR codes historically were built to take you to a web page. Our cards are just a pit stop in that route to a website. So when you scan a QR code, card comes up, it says, do you want to add the card? Whether you press yes or no, we can continue to route you to the end landing page, which might be the home page or the contact page or the details page. And again, if we wanted to use this said card, we could go and use that custom tag. I'm going to just use the generic one for the moment. There's some additional features where we tell you how many people scanned it, which is not in the industry. Again, if we make a QR code, we stick it on Facebook, I'd like to know how many people were scanned and prompted with a card, but chose not to add it. I mean, in a perfect world, everyone who scans would add the card, but it's nice to know, like, maybe it's some people are like, I don't really want this. Like, this is not really what I was thinking to add to my wallet. So you could start to see what is the prompt to add ratio and know how impactful is it your card design? Is it how you're presenting the card to the community? Like, what's making it or not making it work to get people to adopt it?
So let me ask a question there. So say you create your card, you love it, it's great, you send it out and you're not getting any engagement. Do you guys offer any kind of support or advice on how to make that card look better, have a better download rate? Is that service you guys offer at all? I should have asked that before the call started.
No problem. So Vince will absolutely be available to support that. We also have strategic partners in different regional markets that specifically are marketing-centric folks that have been running typically marketing agencies for 10, 15 years. And they are what we call in the process of getting card certified. So they know about the product, they know how to use the product, they've been starting to already sell the card in their market. So if it's someone in a local market and you need someone maybe a little bit more local that knows that area and how that customers respond, we'll pair you with the right partner to be able to take this card to market and do it the most effectively in your region.
Got it. Cool.
So then we have a link, we have a QR code. So in this example, I'm just going to go ahead and scan our red card, which is going to be not the prettiest, but I'm going to throw this up here for the moment.
I'm going to do it too.
And Apple.
Just kidding.
And this just slid up on my Apple phone. Name of the card. Again, we didn't flip out any of the logo or anything. Just did the red. And
I have an Android, so that's what it looks like on an Android. You have to open it. You have to add it.
Correct. Yep. And then again, that vernacular could change. So if you don't want to say like press to add the card, it could say like click to open card or thanks for adding our card. We're excited to add it. And in Apple, as soon as I press the word add in the upper right corner, presto, that'll open up. Sorry, fat fingers. And now my card's in my right.
Yep.
Now we both have cards in our wallets, and that's it. So that's the magic. And again, just to reflect, did we put any contact details in? Did I give you my name, my phone, my email, my anything, right? I just was like, oh.
No, yeah, you have to have a wallet though. That was one thing that we talked about a little bit in the beginning. So iPhone users, all your customers that are iPhone users, super simple. They all have a wallet. But if they are a Google or like an Android phone user, they might have to download one. So when we first started, I had to download a wallet because I haven't used this tech before, any wallets at all really. And then once I downloaded it, it worked exactly smooth like that. But if you don't have a wallet, it prompts you to download it and you just have to accept the permissions. So it's not like it's hard. But just know that if, someone's like, I scanned it and it asked me to download this app, be like, oh yeah, you probably just don't have a wallet. Go ahead and download that. It's no big deal. And then you can see the card. So it is a little bit different. Oh, and it stacks them. I didn't even notice that because now I have two. So it stacks them on top of each other. That's kind of cool. So if I click that one, there's one. How do I get back? Huh?
Now you're the card expert.
Yeah. And now I can click on this card and it opens that card.
Yep. And then on the back of the card,
I'm playing with it.
On the back of the card, we have those little details I put, right? The website, the Monday hours, the location, the phone number. It's all there. And the register. So this card is active. It's real. It's done. I mean, you saw we made a card in, I have been tracking time, maybe 8 minutes, and I've been taking my time building this. So it's very easy. And again, if that office hour change or the phone number change, like I go in, press update, this card will update in about a minute and a half on my phone.
Cool.
And then so I'll just show you, like I click the phone number and it's already dialing right there on the back of the card. And I clicked that because I wanted to show you now when we take a look at the card holders and the people that hold cards. So now you can actually see, this is probably me. Yeah, because I made one phone call and this is you. So it's going to grab your IP, your geofence coordinates, things like that to try to distill your estimated location. But again, it's not meant to be like a geo.
Let's see if I do a card or a phone call. I'm definitely not in New York. I'm going to put a call in and see what it does.
Yeah. So
it should add me if I place a card or if I place a call?
Oh, I see you call me. Yeah. So if you pressed it, watch. Now it's going to tell you that you made a phone call.
Oh, cool.
Tracking, right? Any asset you put on the back of the card, phone, directions, links, it's tracking that. So now you know, okay, and then you know specifically who's doing what. And then as an aggregate, meaning total card engagement overall, we know that your card put through 2 phone calls into the system, or clicked 4 directions, or clicked on the website 19 times. So if you run an offer and we message people and it says, come in today or do this or take a look at this, and people click on that link to view, we're going to actually be able to track that. And then there's a reset button. So depending on how marketing centric individuals are, they could run campaigns. So you could run like a weekly campaign, record the statistics and reset all the numbers and let the statistics kind of aggregate again. So we have a lot of different partners that run like weekly, monthly, quarterly, or even annual cadences. This allows you for any cadence possible to track your aggregate statistics for lifetime if you ever want to reset these. Okay. And then again, on the backside, because you're using the one wallet, different wallets allow different tracking. I actually can tell this individual's pretty active, right? She's looking at the front of the card 4 times. She's spending about a total of 3 seconds on the front, flipped the card over twice, viewing it 7 seconds. So you could actually start to see like, wow, this person's turning the card over. They're opening it a half dozen times. Like you could start to see those aggregate statistics. And then what I'm going to do is quickly register my card and we'll send a message, geofencing, and then that should be about it for our demonstration today here. So let me
I tried to register mine too, but it wasn't. There we go. Maybe it was probably just my phone. Okay, I'm going to register. Get my actual cell phone in here. So it this is what it looked like, guys. This is what I'm doing. Right, it asks you to register. That's what the customer would see.
Yep, and we didn't customize
a register. Yeah. So I just registered.
And you got the success. It takes a moment there. There we go. So I have your details.
Yep.
And
that old address. That's okay.
Yep. So there we go. So now we have some statistics on your customers. And now, if you wanted to, you could even send that particular person now a direct message. If you wanted to just target me, because I've registered and you now know like who I am, because, you know, without me registering, you have no idea who this person is in New York or in Chicago or whatever. Once they register, now you can send that person a direct message. But let's talk about just general messaging. We're going to go ahead and send a mass message. So some of the things, and it gets, you know, this screen is really robust. There's a lot of different options. We're going to do just the most simple test to kind of show everyone in the room what the messaging looks like. But, you know, you could build out, again, different tags. So we talked about that, like website tag, Facebook tag, and we could start using those different tags to segment audiences. So we did a website one. So you could say, I want to send a message specifically to all the people that scan the card off of my webpage, and segment that way. You can get as crazy as, I'd like to target all the people that have not registered, who have clicked, who have made less than 2 phone calls since such and such date, such and such time, are located less than 5 miles of my practice. And that's literally, it's only going to send to non-registered people from the website that made under 2 calls since January 1st and are located 5 miles from my particular location.
Okay, this is cool. I'm glad you showed this, because when we were talking earlier, I was asking about like how you could target, like kind of segment out these people versus customers or leads, or like certain parameters, right, of the individuals that you want to communicate versus like everybody on the card gets the same message. Like that kind of freaked me out. So actually, I'm really grateful that you showed that, because that makes it a little bit easier to understand how you can break down the segmentations. Yeah, so it allows you to kind of use behavior and use geography. For the great thing is these wallets are tied to a phone, which have GPS. So we could target people in a geospatial and a behavior way, which is really the most important thing. If you haven't engaged with us and you're kind of in this area, I might want to nudge you to talk to me or to better communicate. Other things, we give you 3 spots to send 3 different, you only get about 46 characters that pack into each line. That was a little trial and error for us throughout the years to figure that out. But 4 lines, so look at it as kind of like your subject line, and this kind of becomes the extension of your body, like an email, so you can write a little bit more robust. A lot of people say your first line should be this is marketing 101, like what's the call, right? What's the call to action here? And then second line is a little more details. Third line might be like, hey, turn the card over to click for details, or hit me up on my cell phone number, or whatever the message might be. At the bottom here, you have the ability to post-date messages. So if you're at an event and you want a couple messages to kind of go out at lunch, at 6:30, 2 days from now, you could preset and pre-queue a half dozen messages, whatever you want. And this does support every time zone in the world. So you can by default, it'll know what time zone you're in, and you can toggle this. So if you fly out to California, you may want to set this to the California Expo. So this is really cool. So like if you, for example, say I have a class I'm going to put on or something like that for realtors, and I'm going to do like a, continuing education class for the realtors. They come in and I say, hey, download my card for this event, because that's how we're going to notify you of breaks are over and things are happening. So download the card, and then I can schedule throughout the day. These are when they should get their notices. Like, hey, here's your last minute to enter the vendor drawing giveaway. And here's, break is over, or general session has started, things like that. Yep, absolutely. Cool. That's so cool. That's exactly, I was actually just going to show, we sponsored one of the Philadelphia events out here for Philadelphia Magazine. They're a very big publisher, and they did just that. So they made a card, and they had their tequila tasting, and so they set up the QR code that was called the digital guide. They didn't even call it a card. It was just the digital guide. On the back, it had all these hashtags to hashtag the different tequila tents and things they had. And then they also had a map, so you kind of knew where you were and what vendors were at what tables. And it just made an interactive experience. But we were about 75% of people who walked in the front door scanned it. A little over 450 people got the card, one event. And then it just builds, right? It's not like you lose those people. Like the card audience just builds and compounds for each event. And each time you're dropping an email, if it's in your signature, so that audience can grow. And over the course of the year, you can find yourself having 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people in your database with access to their phone. Crazy. There's nowhere to hide these days. People are gonna find us and market to us. It's a good thing if you're in business. I was just kidding. All right, so I'm just gonna write a message. Send that out here. Oh, let me get out of my phone.
So I didn't do any type of, oh goodness gracious, it popped up so quick.
Okay, so mine came up in my notifications. So if I pull my notifications down in my Android phone, it's right there. Welcome to Thursday. Can you see it? Did I put it in the right spot? Welcome to Thursday.
I'm gonna do the same.
That's what it looks like. So if I click on it,
it'll take you to the pull the card up.
Well, I'm in the card. So let me close the card window because I want to see how it like opens it up.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and clear it out. I have so many notifications on my lock screen, but I'll send another one. So let's do, I don't know.
We are farmers.
Okay. Welcome to Thursday. And it just opens that. And then you can see the card and there's the message. Welcome to Thursday. Yep.
And I'll go ahead and do it again. Don't mind my little ones. And I'm going to press
send. Oh, they're so cute.
Thank you. So I have a test beacon card, which I'll show you in a moment. And now that should have just come through again.
Yep.
Happy Thursday. Now, again, we didn't swap the logo out or anything. So you tell I have a whole bunch of test cards in my wallet. I have like 47 cards here. But there you go. It's in my wallet. And as a user, you could click on that and that'll bring that card open. Apple does proceed to highlight. If you use the Apple wallet as opposed to like the One wallet, it'll circle the change. You can see it, but like message that shows right up on the screen. And again, if I go into this, we could go and do the history as we talked about. So on the back of the card, you could start seeing a rolling history of all the different messages that were sent out with the timestamp. We can go ahead and change the color. We can do anything you want. So the magic really here again is that making a card's easy. That's 10 minutes. Getting it in your community is as simple as putting a QR code on a couple digital things. People are in that, right now scanning for QR codes is at an all-time high it's ever been. So you will get good adoption as long as you're transparent on like why they need your card and what information are you going to be sending to them. All these people customers have to just scan, add it to their wallet. That's it. And they don't even have to use the wallet really, because at the end of the day, you're going to ping them with the message and tell them, hey, open my card. There's something I need to tell you about. They're going to click, card opens, and it might say, flip the card over. Here's details. So you don't have to be an avid. I always get this all the time. Like, we're not sure if our audience is avid wallet fans. Well, that's okay. Like if they know how to scan and they know how to click a notification, that's all they really need to know how to do. The card then does it does what it needs to do. It's no different than a text. You don't need to have a text fan. You know how to click a text, it opens it up, and there you go. You're in the message. So that is at a core, that is all the messaging components, but it's very, like I said, very in depth. We have a lot of big brands doing very complex behaviors based on where they're clicking, who they're clicking, geofencing, to target people at very unique opportunities to get them to act on different things. The other thing I wanted to highlight is we have this thing called automatic messaging. I think it may apply for some insurance brokers and agents in the industry, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but two things. One, you can actually set up, I'm just, again, picking a random location, welcome to our office, add location, and now literally this is a geofence and it defaults to 325 feet. If you drive within 325 feet of this location, it automatically is going to pop up and say, welcome to our office. The card literally will slide up on your phone, and because you're in that geofenced area, and say something. So on a micro scale, right, this could be an event. If you have a booth, you could set a location, and as people walk up to the event, it could say, hey, I'm going to be here, L17 down on the back left. If you want to get real micro-sized with your engagement, you could get these things. We have a link on the website specifically to get what these are called Bluetooth beacons. They're like $8 to $10, depending on which ones you get. Just put a battery in. There's an app to configure them. And then these are good for down to 5 feet. So if someone literally brushes by your front desk or is like looking at your table spread of what you have, the card may slide up and say, hey, you're looking at the Louis Lombardi tent. Thanks so much. Don't forget to register. So these are like very geo-focused.
You can have it right. You could have it like on you if you wanted to be like, this is where I'm at. Oh, you're close to me. Say hello.
That's it, right? So you're in a circle. You're
Dude,
talking to someone.
I'm going to a conference in May and I'm like, I want that because I'm not going to do a booth, but I could be like, hey, if you're trying to find me, because I'm a subject matter expert at the conference, I'm like, you can find me with this little card. That's so cool. That's so cool.
You can put as many geofences as you want. You didn't hear this on the call. You could geofence competition. You could do whatever you want to do. But once you have the card, once you build your card on.
Warning, your nearest State Farm agency, please turn around. So funny. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. Oh, so man.
There's a lot of really powerful features in here if you're trying to like communicate, and maybe it's not about time, it's about geospatial data. So this allows you to kind of get in front of people in a very unique way as they kind of move about venues, offices, as they travel. Obviously, with everything with messaging, we have to be judicious and make sure we're sending out the right types of messages and we're not overbearing and spamming, because at the end of the day, it is still a messaging platform. And if you over abuse it, you're going to have people unsubscribe, which they can, right? They can turn off notifications. They can remove the card. Typically, it's a low unsubscribe, under 1%. So, and we attribute that because we looked at the industry. We've been talking to people now for a little over 9 months. We put 10 people on a phone and we say, what's in your wallet? Usually 2 to 3 people at most break out their wallet, and it's some boarding pass from a flight like 5 years ago, or some NFL ticket from like a game 6 months ago. Like, no one really is at the moment is actively kind of going into these wallets and like managing their tickets. Like, again, because I told you the story, I don't think Apple did a great job at promoting how magical a wallet is. I mean, now airlines are at a 67% adoption for domestic flights, so digital boarding passes. And I don't know what the statistics, they haven't produced it for the NFL, but a majority of major ticketing is done with digital tickets. So the adoption is getting there. People know about this widespread technology, but it's still new. It's still a little cutting edge in the industry. So you can use that to your advantage, that you could be the first agent with a card in the wallet. And these wallets, they're not going away. Like, Apple's not going to go away and take away the major airline wallet so that people can't do digital flights. Like, this is not a fad. It's not going away in 2 weeks. There's going to be more to come. There's going to be driver's license in the wallets. And that's where we're going to, is we're leading to more cards in the wallet.
You're going to need like a personal security guard just for your phone, because your whole life's going to be in there. Driver's license, flight passes, crazy stuff. This is so cool though.
Awesome. Well, I'm not going to touch on the barcodes. I touched on that briefly, but there is the ability to put a barcode on the front of your card. A lot of people will put the card link as a barcode on the front. So when we're at an event, you could just scan my barcode, which ultimately scans my card in your phone. So you can kind of do I don't want to call it a little like trick, but you could say like, hey, if you want to scan my card digitally, like, here's my card, scan it, and you end up getting my card anyway. So a lot of people that are in traveling or at the office, that QR code in the front is their card to then distribute that to other people.
Cool.
Something people may or may not use. But that's about it for the demonstration. I kind of touched briefly on everything, but as I mentioned before, upper right, there's a tutorial on everything I talked about today. There is a user account section where you can add multiple administrators to manage different sections of the card. You can make as many cards as you want. So you could do a card for the practice. You could do a personal card. You could do just an agent card for all the different agents in your practice. Like, there's a lot of different
Could you do like a card for your staff to like be able to send them messages?
Absolutely. An internal staff card. Hey, we're closed the office, or hey, we're going to observe this holiday. Absolutely.
Yeah, Mariah, we have some schools looking at utilizing something like that right now for all of their teachers or staff within their school district to communicate just with them.
Or even like job postings. I mean, I'm hiring right now, so I'm thinking of like the way people are communicating with me through all this, through the emails and things. Like, we could send them notices there too. Like, interviews have closed, and send like a mass communication to everybody that applied if they had the card. And then we're making individual like job offers and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like the application, as I'm sitting here talking about it, like there's more ideas popping into my head. A lot of applications.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do too, post this call and we'll get some stuff together, but we're also going to give, as a part of this deal that we want to put together, I'm going to create a couple of different PDF sample kits that, like, if you do want to put one of these in your office or one of these in your window, like some of the physical ones, and we'll give you some of the digital banners where you can literally just take a QR code, plug yours in, put it on Facebook and call it a day, or just copy and paste it, put it in your e-blast. So we'll give 4 or 5 different templates. So that way anyone that does want to, not really have to think and just kind of plug and play to make it real easy, we'll give you all the inner workings of, call it north of 850 different brands at the moment who are using this in an active community of a little over 2.5 million people.
Okay.
And we
cool.
just started.
Yeah. This is so cool. Can you tell us about the promotion that you have for the group?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what we decided to do for the group, I think you have such a great group of people. I think we want to make it this easy to use and affordable technology. That's the most important thing. If it's new, but it's got the price sticker of new, no one's ever going to use it. And our goal as the Wallet Group is to get as many cards in the community. So we are going to offer it for $49.99 a month flat. And normally we charge based on the usage, like how big your audience ends up growing. None of that's going to apply here. We want to just make it easy. $49.99 a month. That's it. The price is a lifetime discount through this offer. And you can have an audience. I hope someone calls me in a couple years and tells me they have like 67,000 people in their community. Maybe that would be you, but I hope someone calls and says they have that, but we don't want to charge anything more than $50 a month. That's it.
And what is that down from on the regular price? So the group knows kind of like the massive discount you're giving us.
Yeah. So normally we base it off of like how many thousand people are in the community, and most communities will end up getting a few thousand people. So you end up spending close to like anywhere from like $150 a month to like $600-$700 a month. We have some brands spending anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000 a month because they have millions of people in their community. So
Jeez.
I mean, it depends, right? Again, it depends on how big the community grows, but we're just not going to even use that in the equation for the deal. I just want it to be flat, fixed, and let everyone take advantage of the cards. And again, the other thing too is I don't even care how many cards you make. So if you make a card for your office, 9 cards for each one of your staff, an internal one, a personal one, a family one, it's still just $50. That's it.
Yeah, so that's kind of the power of like being an early adapter to something like this, getting that introductory pricing, part of the benefit of being part of our insurance automation group where you guys can get some of these special discounts. And, at this point, I mean, I look for software and people to talk to and do these calls for, but people are also coming to us because they want to get in front of, our group and have cool, exciting new things to share with us. So I'm really glad that you guys reached out and shared this. I feel like the timing just could not be better with all of this stuff going on with texting right now. So, I think what I hear from a lot of agents, especially like people that are not really tech savvy or aren't innovating their agencies, is like, well, it's always worked the way I've done it. But that is coming to an end very fast because tech is moving so fast. I mean, we're watching the power of AI now jump into the different areas of a business. And if you're not an early adapter, then you're just kind of behind. And these younger generations coming up, myself included, we're looking for stuff like this. We get excited about stuff like this. Like we are the tech generation. So embrace it, learn it. This is super easy to set up and use. And I'm excited to set mine up. I can't wait to do it. And we're going to get it out to our customers right away.
Yeah, well, we're excited. We're here to help. So as I mentioned, Vince is here, and we're also going to share some partner resources. So any folks across the country that want to get a little bit more intimate partner that might know their region a little bit like locally and some of the nuances, we're going to try to connect them with some local people that might be able to help them set up the card if they need it. As you saw, when we did this in a pretty quick, short time, it's not too difficult in a help guide, but if you want someone to just kind of get under the hood and really tune it up a bit, we're here to help. That's what we do all day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm excited to get this into the group and so everyone can see what you guys are doing and reach out, and we'll make sure we post. There's a landing page link that you're going to need to click on below it'll be above the video in the Facebook post to be able to get that promo. So click on the link to get the introductory or to get that pricing, the $49.99 for life. So you don't have to pay the standard pricing. And, share this with all of the agents that you know, or don't keep it to yourself. But I like to share things. I think that's better. And we have more people using it. So thank you so much, you guys, for your time. Awesome product. Excited to see where you take it and how it continues to grow in the space.
Appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.